So yeah, Miguel, that's our first story of the night. So why don't we get right into it? It's the most wonderful time of the year, as the winter overnight parking ban is now going to be in effect tomorrow morning. I'm going to add this to our stream. Please keep in mind, everybody, if you park on the streets, you do not want a ticket. You do not want to get towed. So I'm leading the show with this story because I think it's really, really important before we get into our regular stories. Chicago's overnight winter parking ban is back Wednesday. Make sure you don't get towed. By the way, I also want to put up our lovely Chicago corner backdrop there, which was missing a moment ago. So here's the story, everybody. So make sure that you prepare for this. Last year, 232 cars were towed during the first night of the ban, despite no snowfall. So they can't wait to get out there and tow your cars to generate that revenue, even though there's no snowfall. That's what our city's all about, revenue generation. And the winter weather just gives them another excuse to pick your pockets, even when there isn't any snow. The practice angers residents, but the city says it's meant to prevent a traffic standstill when it snows. Like we don't have traffic standstills anyway all over the city when it doesn't snow, or when they decide construction can take several years instead of a few months. Hey, on that note, kind of unrelated, but kind of related, I think that it's now taken them longer to construct the Jane Byrne interchange downtown than World War II took. So keep that in mind. All right, back to our story. This comes to us from Amy Kinn at Block Club Chicago. Drivers in the city should double check before parking their cars in the street starting early Wednesday morning. That's when Chicago's overnight winter parking ban will go into effect. The ban prohibits parking along 107 miles of major roads throughout the city and is enforced from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m., regardless of whether it is snowed or not, from December 1st through April 1st, according to the city's Department of Streets and Sanitation. I don't know if there are any aldermen out there that might want to propose legislation that the parking ban only goes into effect when there is no snow on the ground, but I know that that would diminish the revenue that they're able to collect from December 1st through April 1st. Signs indicating the ban are permanently posted along affected streets. The city has also posted flyers on cars parked on the streets as an additional reminder of the ban, according to a department news release. Drivers who violate the ban will be towed and face a minimum $150 towing fee, and that's what it's really all about. A $60 ticket and a vehicle storage fee of $25 each day, according to the department. Towed vehicles will be taken to Pound 2 at 10,301 South Dottie Avenue in Pullman. You're going to have to go all the way to the south side to Pullman, or Pound 6 at 701 North Sacramento Boulevard in Humboldt Park. And let me bring up that map for you. Anyone who finds their car towed can locate it by calling 311 or using the city's database of towed vehicles, as the map shows. And actually, it's a pretty long map there. Let's scroll down. The overnight parking ban is just one of the many protocols in place to keep the city safe during the winter every year, Department of Streets and Sanitation Commissioner Cole Stoller said in a statement, keeping the city safe, right? The practice, however, has been criticized as a city cash grab, especially when no snow is in the forecast. Last year, 232 cars were towed during the first night of the ban, despite no snowfall. I'm telling you, they're going to have all the tow trucks out tonight at the ready. Yesterday, being still November, I didn't think about the fact that at midnight it would actually be December 1st. So they towed my car. One resident said last year, while paying to get her car from the city auto pound at 701 North Sacramento Boulevard. The whole ordeal set her back more than $200. It's predatory. It's totally predatory, she said. There goes a week's groceries, that's for sure. The city has defended the practice, of course, saying it prevents a buildup of snow and ice next to parked cars along major roadways, according to a news release. There's also a second snow-related parking ban that affects another 500 miles of main streets when there are at least 2 inches of snow on the street, regardless of the time of day or date. If violated, cars can be towed and ticketed. Hey, while I'm sharing and relating the story, please share your snow parking horror stories in the live chat. Hopefully you don't have any, but I'll be happy to share them and talk about them. Both the overnight and snow-related parking bans were implemented on designated high-traffic streets to prevent what happened in 1967 and 1979, when major snowstorms caused Chicago traffic to come to a standstill, according to the department. Visit chicagoshovels.org for more information and to view the city's snowplows in real time. Let's check out chicagoshovels.org. I guess that's the update site as to when they get their tow trucks out. Oh, how convenient. They've got the plow tracker, the winter apps, and most importantly, was my car towed or relocated? Can't find your car? This site will help if it's been towed or relocated by the city. Shall we watch their video? Let's take a quick look at what this is and see if it's worth paying attention to.
We all know how important it is for Chicagoans to prepare for winter, and that's why Mayor Emanuel launched chicagoshovels.org, one place online where you can get all your city-related snow resources and also help bring Chicagoans together this winter. So there's four main components of chicagoshovels.org. The first is the plow tracker, where you can see in real time the location of every plow in the city of Chicago via its GPS.
You can follow snow plows in real time as they're on their routes, and you're able to track those plows as they're clearing their route. So you'll have some idea of how soon it's going to get to you.
Or how long it's going to take.
Looking out your window and seeing if the plows have come by. Now you can also go to the plow tracker and see the location of every plow in the city and where it's going. The second piece is Adopt a Sidewalk, where residents can claim a section of sidewalk in front of their house and connect with their neighbors to help keep those sidewalks clean.
It's really critical that both residents and business.
I love Gene's idea. Chicago should create neighborhood watches just to prevent towing. Help your neighbors. Yeah, maybe like door to door. I don't know, flyers. I guess they just assume everybody has got an internet connection, especially in, you know, neighborhoods where they probably can't even afford internet to catch the news or have cable. But yeah, Art, the city is definitely set to make money tonight.
Businesses are cognizant of keeping their sidewalks clear. It really is an issue for people with mobility disabilities, for those
That's
that
true.
use wheelchairs, may have other mobility devices, or difficulty walking.
Adopt a Sidewalk is another tool that business owners, property owners, and neighbors can claim a sidewalk in front of their.
Okay, so I'm gonna opine here. This is actually good advice here, and anybody who actually, you know, anybody who's got a residence and a shovel or a snowblower should be out there clearing snow on the sidewalks. Most importantly, I've got a snowblower. I usually like go one house to my north, and if no one else has got a snowblower, 5 buildings to my south to the alley so that pedestrians can get through the neighborhood. Because if you've got a snowblower, do a little bit extra. It's not that hard, and it's good exercise for you. So let's continue to help your neighbors.
When it's cleared and help come together as a community.
Smart Chicago Collaborative is going to host the website. So we have it on a server that is outside the city infrastructure and allows these developers and new people who feel like they want to get involved in it and make improvements to the software and new features. It allows them to commit code directly to the server, and we can have it immediately improved.
It's a great comment here from E. Heller. Plow Tracker is fun to watch because you can see them bypass all the side streets and alleys that they won't plow. I remember several years ago when no one had their side streets plowed. You know who did have his side streets plowed? Alderman Burke. That was a big news story. Apparently, those are the neighborhoods that come first.
The software.
Then we've got a winter apps gallery, and these are applications that are built by Chicago's bustling developer community that use city data to create useful.
I remember that story, Art.
Through the winter. And the last
here's the important stuff.
Snow Corps, where people can volunteer to help out neighbors who are elderly or have disabilities and might need a little help this winter getting sidewalks cleared in front of their house.
This program offers a really critical service to our residents who may have difficulty shoveling and have mobility disabilities. And it's very critical in terms of increasing their access to their communities.
Help your neighbor. Help each other. Rather than taking out a small portion of your street and creating some dibs, we'd rather see the entire block working together to clear that street.
Yep.
Coming together in the winter,
especially if you've got a snowblower.
Already do, helping neighbors do sidewalks and dig out our cars. And chicagoshovels.org is really a place where we can empower people to really come together and provide even more resources.
All right, so enough of that. I've done my civic duty for the evening. Overnight snow ban starts tomorrow, so please as I like to say at the end of the show, but I'll say it now. Be vigilant.
Hey, Jerry.
Oh,
Jerry,
jeez.
I also have a public service announcement. Is that
Both.
if you know there are people coming to plow your street, you got to get those dibs chairs out of your parking space and move your cars. In Chicago, some of you don't know, people like to reserve the parking spots they dug out on the side streets that didn't get plowed with furniture and chairs, sometimes a nice dining room set, occasionally previously used Christmas trees.
My favorite are the nativity scenes when they put baby Jesus in the street to protect a parking spot.
Yes, because who in their right mind would move a nativity scene just to take a parking spot? We are not monsters.
Okay, so Art has a very, very good point in the live chat. For anyone who's unemployed but in good shape, this is a chance to start a side hustle business and shovel snow in parking spots for people not prepared to shovel, especially our senior citizens who can't get out there. And again, if you've got a snowblower, do more than your own front sidewalk. As far as dibs goes, Pegleg, I also think dibs is bullshit. That whole
it is, but at the same time, you don't know. See, I had conversations with some of the other ghosts around here, and they have mixed feelings about dibs as well. Sometimes Gene thinks I'm responsible for the big Chicago fire, and I should not be trusted. But the truth is, you don't know who dug out that spot for who. What if some guy dug that spot out for his poor grandma so she could get her car in and out of that spot, and he puts that little chair there? Well, grandma can lift the little tiny chair to move that into her car so she can get back and forth to the grocery store. But, she's getting up there in age, and she can't dig out those spots like she used to. She used to dig out like half the neighborhood spots when she was younger.
First of all, no grandmother should be driving through a snowstorm to get to the grocery store.
Well, okay. We're talking about the one from Pasadena. She got to drive.
Okay, but most two flats and most residences throughout our residential neighborhoods, Pegleg, we all have garages. I think most. Oh, here we go again. Here we go again with the. Am I buffering again? Am I still there?
No, you're still here, Jerry.
Oh, okay. So maybe it's just on my end. It looked like my screen froze. Okay, so what I was saying, going off on my dibs rant. I've got a garage. People in the neighborhood have got garages. And if you're going to dig out a parking spot for an extra car and you leave, that's a public space. It's a public street. You got some exercise. You dug out the space for yourself. If everybody else is doing what the hell they're supposed to do, they're digging out all the spots on the street. Everybody should dig out the side, the front of their spots to park. And because if everybody did it, then no one would be fighting for a parking spot in the snow. Or
Jerry's actually correct here.
I'm absolutely correct.
It does take a village or a city, get your neighbors all together, and it won't take too long for all of you to grab a shovel and dig out your side.
A snowblower. Everybody's got a snowblower now. Mostly everybody's got a snowblower. And as I said, I've got one. I do more of my sidewalk. I try to go to the alley. I know that other people in the neighborhood, they'll plow more than their front. You're right, Pegleg. It takes a city or a village or whatever it takes. In this case, it takes a city. And all this bullshit about, I'm going to dig out my parking spot in front while I have a garage in back because maybe grandma's going to use it, even though I should be going to the store. Or I should be driving grandma to the store so she doesn't trip on the sidewalk getting to her vehicle that she shouldn't be driving on slippery streets and break her hip. Do I need to go any further?
You don't, but you should realize not everybody in the city with a car has a garage to put it in.
Okay,
a lot of people parking on streets these days. Sometimes that's all they have access to, and that's why I always take it with a grain of salt. I'm like, some guy put a chair down. I ain't messing with his chair. I don't want him to break my ghost car's window. And I think you can break a ghost car window. Don't ask me how.
I think dibs is the perfect time of year for people to add to their living rooms, add to their interior home decor, because there's a lot of stuff on the streets that Or their patio. Add extra chairs for your patio if those are out on the street too.
We got another side hustle idea from Arturo here. He says, create a dibs centerpiece. Make some kind of obscure art like a beat up chair and rent it out as a dib that can be admired and serves a purpose, which is art.
It's a good idea.
Art is wonderful.